So back in 2018, I first heard about a band from Houston, Texas that has since gone on to become one of my favorite bands of all time, and that is Khruangbin, or Khruangbin. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this trio from Houston, Texas makes some of the best music out there today, in my opinion. They're kind of genre-less. They bring in influences and sounds and feels from across the world and across different time periods, and they blend it together into something that is truly beautiful. And over the last 10 years or so of being a band, they have made just some incredible records. So in today's video, we're going to talk about Khruangbin from the perspective of their guitar player, Mark Spear. We're going to look at his tone, we're going to look at his technique, his approach on some of their most popular songs, and see if we can steal a few ideas and glean some techniques to add into our own playing. But before we jump in, a quick plug. Please subscribe. According to my analytics, still over half of the people that watch this channel on a regular basis aren't subscribed, and it really does help when you click that little red button. I'm coming up on 500,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome to get there in the next few weeks, and I appreciate the support. While you're down there, you can check out links to my video courses. I have a brand new video course that's dropping within a few days of this video, and it's the Pentatonic Breakout course. This is a mini course designed to be taken in 1 to 2 sittings, and the whole idea behind this course is to help you break out of the typical pentatonic box shape that we all know and love as guitar players. So check the description box for more info on that course, and since I will be playing their music in this video will be demonetized, so it's a great way to show some support for the channel. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's jump in and take a look at Mark Spear's sound. Okay, so this is a song called Como Me Quieres off of my favorite record that Khruangbin has done called Con Todo El Mundo. And I think this is a really great song to start on because it sort of encapsulates everything I love about this band and Mark Spear's guitar playing. First of all, his sound. The guitar tone is super lo-fi. There's tons of texture to it. There's tons of reverb and a lot of mid-range. And in 2018, they did a rig rundown, a Premier Guitar rig rundown that I'll have linked down below, where he takes us through his entire setup. And it's awesome because he gets these amazing classic lo-fi kind of sounds with a very, very bare bones and simple setup, which I really respect. Now, from watching more of their recent touring footage, I just played Glastonbury a few weeks ago. It looks like he's changed that a little bit, but the core of it is still the same. It's a Fender Strat with a wah that's always on, going through a really simple pedal board that's adding a little saturation and a little compression, and then a lot of spring reverb and delay when needed. And it's cool because with this band being a trio, he has a lot of space to fill being the primary lead and mid-range instrument. So he can get away with these really drippy reverb kind of sounds here. Especially on these big chords, these... Now, I'm approximating his sound as best as I can here at home. The always-on wah trick is something that's super cool. I've been aware of the half-cocked wah, but in that rig rundown, he talks about leaving the wah on all the time, almost as a utilitarian thing, so that his tone isn't changing. You don't hear the click, but what it does is it gives you this interesting kind of mid-range control attached to a foot pedal. So you can make it more bright and harsh and nasally, or you can roll that wah back just a little bit and make it a little warmer. And then if you watch them live, if you watch their Tiny Desk concert or any of their live footage, he is really utilizing his tone and volume controls. And he likes to use the middle pickup on the Strat a lot, which is not a super popular option with a lot of Strat players, and that's a shame because it's a really, really cool sound. I'm really inspired by this tone. This is something I'm going to try and use a lot more in my own playing. Now, another sort of key point behind Mark Spear's guitar playing is how scalar everything is, meaning he's working out of a specific scale, and most of his lines, being incredibly melodic and very memorable, are based just out of the scale. He's not pulling out a bunch of stock minor pentatonic licks. He's doing stuff that's incredibly melodic. If we move on a little bit further in the song here, because he's playing rhythm and lead at the same time, he's doing a lot of things that outline the chords. Like, so everything he's doing is based out of this. That E flat minor sound, he's utilizing just the notes in the scale, but he's doing it in a very, very melodic way. And he's got such a great feel for dynamics, like starting off soft and then leaning into the notes a little harder. I love it. I love that stuff. And that sort of motif repeats itself. Then we transition to the bridge of the song. And same thing here. He's just working out of that E flat minor scale. It's fantastic. Okay, so this is from their NPR Tiny Desk concert, which I will also have linked down below. It's one of my favorite Tiny Desks I've ever seen, and it perfectly illustrates just how good these guys are. Their drummer, DJ, has some of the best time feel of any drummer I've ever seen. Like, this whole performance, he's just sitting back there, like just barely moving, kind of sitting still, but it's like he's a human metronome, man. His feel is so good. And Laura Lee on bass. I mean, that's one of my favorite rhythm sections now, is the rhythm section from Khruangbin. And they put together this beautiful foundation that Mark Spear can then build off of. And this song, August 10th, I think is a really good example of Spear's ability to play really tasteful rhythm parts, really great chords, really great dynamics, while also playing lead. So with this, he's basically just starting off with these triads, these really sparse, really light, but the tone is exactly what it needs. It's like the neck pickup on your Strat, tone rolled all the way off, the wah on, a little bit of compression, and a lot of spring reverb. And then he comes in with this really great melody. And you notice he's very rarely bending in his lines. I learned from the rig rundown he's actually playing flat wound strings on his Strat, which I would actually really like to try out. But flats generally don't lend themselves to big bends, although he does seem to do it occasionally. But for someone like me, trying to imitate Mark Spears' playing is really interesting because his approach to lead playing is completely different. I would do a lot more slides and a lot more bends than he does. Most of his stuff is single note, single string picked lines. He does tons of hammer-ons, tons of trills. And from reading interviews online, it seems that he picked that up from listening to a lot of Middle Eastern and African music. He seems to talk about that a lot. In fact, this band seems to be pretty heavily influenced by songs and music and musical genres from the Middle East and Africa. So I really love Mark Spears' guitar playing, and there's a few things that I want to try and take away from this video, from kind of analyzing his playing and implement into my own stuff. First of all is his tone. I mean, I've talked about it before, but really utilizing your volume and your tone controls on your guitar is one thing I think we should all be doing. You have such an infinite amount of control with your volume and your tone, and Mark really, really utilizes it to a great effect. On top of that, things like the always on wah, that's something I've never really tried before, but it's super cool. I mean, I've got it on now and back my neck volume off a little bit with a little phaser. Also, if you look at his lines and a lot of his playing, he doesn't live in your typical sort of pentatonic scale shapes a lot. Instead of playing vertically out of a box shape, he likes to move horizontally across the neck quite a bit. I mean, this melody is a perfect example of that. This C sharp major kind of sound. And also his use of dynamic. I mean, he's playing so softly here. Almost letting the reverb step forward as being more featured than the actual guitar sound itself. I think that's so cool. So that's why I think nobody really sounds like Khruangbin. They do such an amazing job of blending different genres and different styles together to create their own thing. And in so doing, I think they are sort of genreless. You can't really define them as one or even two things. And that's part of why I love their records so much. I'd love to see them live one day. From the videos I've seen online, they put on a killer live show. But yeah, overall, if you're not hip to Khruangbin, if you haven't listened to any of the records, I would highly recommend it. Mark Spears has become one of my favorite modern day guitar players. I love his approach. I love his tone. I love his playing. He really is a master guitar player. But what do you think about Khruangbin? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to check out my brand new video course, the Pentatonic Breakout course. If you want to learn how to break out of your typical pentatonic boxes, this is a 1-hour course that will help you do just that. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like. It really helps the channel out when you do so. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know who you want to see next in this Nobody Sounds Like series. I'm having a lot of fun making these, kind of doing a bit of a deep dive on different players and bands that I love and trying to figure out what it is about their sound that I love so much and what makes them unique. Let me know all that in the comments section down below. My name is Rhett Shull. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, there is no plan B.